Ernie, how are things in the camp after the game against Newcastle?
Surprisingly upbeat. I think against Newcastle, you hand over a goal in the first 5 minutes away from home against a team that are desperate for a win. You're always going to be up against it, and our inexperienced players discovered what it's like to play away from home against a parochial crowd. Having said that, it was good experience for them, and but to have three players ongoing who are inexperienced in the back line is pretty tough, and we can change that this week because Manny Muscat's back and Louis Fenton's back, so we've got more depth to choose from. And up front, we certainly created lots of chances in the second half, even before they went down to 10 men, and we've really got to finish those off.
So Louis and Manny both available. Are they both likely to start against Melbourne City?
They'll be in the squad. Manny will definitely be starting. I don't know if Louis got 90 minutes in him. He's got to get through this week, first of all, of course, but he's looking good already.
And is Manny a centre-back now, or is he a full-back?
Manny's the centre-back. Dylan has learned a lesson. He gave away a penalty in the first 6 minutes. He got the offside wrong for the third goal, but I think he's going to be a really good player for this club. It's just sometimes a hard lesson to learn.
What about at the sharp end? What about in the attacking third? Does that continue to give you challenging things to think about up there?
Well, what I noticed is we're not good at playing with two high strikers when you don't have two naturally high striker type players. So we switched it around and played with one high striker and several three midfielders coming through, and that really worked for us, and that's probably the way we'll go again.
Ernie, the inexperienced guys, often guys like that tend to rise or lift their game to the level of high performers, but on the flip side, if they're playing a team that perhaps is lacking a few skills, they can sometimes level of performance can drop to the level of their opponents. How do you sort of, I guess, combat and deal with that sort of trait that comes out in inexperienced players?
I think what you're saying, Joe, is pretty accurate, and the inexperienced players lifted against the top team in the league at home, but after a long gruelling trip, a flight, a 2.5 hour bus trip, and then out in front of a fairly strong crowd that are in opposition to you is an experience you've got to go through and get used to. And really it's about bringing them in, preferably one at a time, and getting them used to that type of experience. I believe that all of those lads, Gully, Danaskis and Dylan Fox, I think they're all good players. They just need to go through that type of thing, preferably not all at the same time.
When we spoke to you last week, you talked about the possibility of looking at somebody in a trial situation, or somebody from the ASB Premiership, maybe lower leagues in Victoria, New South Wales. Any movement there?
I think what I said was we're continually looking around, but we will always favour giving our young lads a run unless there's someone we can find that's so much better, because you're just benefiting from putting Joe Stevens on the bench, or players of that ilk, or young James McGarry, and I'd rather give them the experience. But if we could find someone so much better, then we'll certainly bring them in. It's not a problem with having a spot, even a visa spot's available on injury replacement. We've got the money, but I'm not going to just spend it on any player. I'd rather develop the players we've got.
And if you look at Melbourne City, they've scored the most goals in the league this season. You've got Manny back and Louis. Is that going to be enough to sort of shut them down?
Yeah, I think we've got a very good defence when we've got everyone available. I know we're still without Ben Sigmund, but Manny's been doing a good job in there, and Dylan will always fill in. But I think we've got a strong defence. I feel as though our midfield completely took over the game in the second half when we rejigged it, and it's about. I don't think our problem will be defending. I think our problem will be in scoring goals. It works at training. We've got to transfer that to the match conditions.
So that midfield rejig is going to stand against Melbourne City?
It's very similar, yes. I'm very happy with our midfield. I have been all year and last year, and we're building on it from last year. And Albert, Revera, Alex Rodriguez. Vince Leah had 80 possessions with an 86% pass rate. I thought he was outstanding. Once he started getting the ball into Rowley and Michael McGlinchey, and then we got Cabs forward, and Blake Powell had probably his best game for us. A bit unlucky not to score. Young Matt Redenton's been outstanding when he comes on as a wing back more than a full back, and Tom Doyle's shown that, you know, you drop him for a week or two, the motivation is good when you come back on. So he's vying for a place at left back now, and that's what we want.
And City have got Caceres, I think, available for this weekend.
Yeah, I find that whole situation strange. We're trying to link up with Chelsea now, and we're hoping that Chelsea will sign a few players and then put them out on loan to us for $5 a week or something. I mean, it's getting farcical, really. But that's for the FFA to deal with. I can't think of anything more ridiculous. And oh, what a surprise that was.